Here's something nobody tells you about the DJI Neo 2. After 30 days of flying this thing almost every single day, I've discovered something that completely changed how I think about small drones. Every time the battery hits 20%, I feel genuinely frustrated. Not because the drone failed me, not because it crashed or lost signal or ruined a shot. I'm frustrated because I want to keep flying. And that feeling, that specific emotion right there, tells you everything you need to know about whether this drone is worth your money. But here's the twist. That limitation might actually be the smartest design choice DJI ever made. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why the Neo 2's biggest weakness is also its greatest strength. And more importantly, you'll know if this is the right drone for you or a complete waste of $200. The trust factor. Let's start with something that sounds boring but changes everything. Trust. I've flown dozens of drones in this price range, and here's what usually happens. You launch, the drone wobbles, you fight the wind, you're constantly correcting tiny movements, and your brain is in constant management mode. You're not thinking about the shot, you're thinking about not crashing. The Neo 2 does something I've never experienced in a sub-$300 drone. From the moment it leaves your hand, it feels decided. It locks position, holds altitude, and when wind hits, it doesn't panic. It pushes back calmly, adjusts, and keeps your frame steady. I'm not exaggerating when I say this feels like flying a drone 3 times its price. The original Neo was fun, but it always felt like a toy pretending to be a tool. The Neo 2 feels like a tool that happens to be small. That shift in confidence changes how you fly. Instead of planning one safe shot and landing, you start experimenting. You fly lower, you try tighter spaces, you follow subjects through trees instead of around them. And here's the critical part. The drone rewards that trust. It doesn't suddenly freak out when GPS drops. It doesn't lose the subject when someone walks behind a tree. It recovers smoothly, predictably, like it's anticipating what you need before you need it. This is the foundation of everything else I'm about to tell you, because without this trust, nothing else matters. The stability secret. Now let's talk about what's actually happening under the hood, because this is where DJI made some really smart engineering choices that most reviewers completely miss. The Neo 2 uses a 2-axis mechanical gimbal combined with electronic image stabilization. And before you think that's just marketing speak, let me show you why this combo matters. Unlike the original Neo, which only had single-axis stabilization, the Neo 2's 2-axis gimbal handles both pitch and roll movements. The big tilts, the sudden turns, the wind gusts. The electronic stabilization then cleans up the micro jitters, the tiny vibrations that make footage look cheap. Together they create this smooth, cinematic look that shouldn't be possible on a drone this small and this light. But here's what nobody's talking about. The flight controller in the Neo 2 is making hundreds of tiny corrections every single second to maintain that stability. The motors are stronger than the original Neo, which means they can respond faster to keep the drone level. The omnidirectional obstacle avoidance sensors combined with forward-facing LiDAR are constantly feeding data to help the drone predict and avoid problems before they happen. All of this is working together in the background while you're just enjoying how easy it feels to fly. I've flown this drone in winds up to 24 miles per hour, tracked my dog running through tall grass, and gotten smooth footage in every single scenario. That's not luck, that's engineering. The gimbal drift that people complained about on the original Neo is mostly gone. When it does happen, the recovery is gentle and natural, not that jarring snapback that ruins a shot. This matters more than any spec sheet can tell you, because it means you keep more footage. You're not constantly redoing takes. You're not abandoning shots because the stabilization failed halfway through. You launch, you fly, you land, and the footage is usable. That efficiency is what makes this drone feel professional despite its size. The battery reality. All right, let's address the elephant in the room, battery life. And I'm going to give you the real numbers, not the marketing numbers, not the best case scenario flying in zero wind at sea level numbers. Real flying. DJI claims up to 19 minutes of flight time in optimal conditions. But if you fly the Neo 2 the way most people actually do, a quick takeoff, climb to 50 feet, reposition for a shot, track a subject, fight some wind, hover while you think about the next angle, you're looking at 9 to 11 minutes of flight time before you should be heading home. Not 18 minutes. Not the 19 minutes DJI claims in optimal conditions. 9 to 11 minutes of real, usable, stress-free flying. Now, if you fly like a grandma, slow, smooth inputs, minimal climbing, no aggressive movements, perfect weather, you can stretch that closer to the advertised 19 minutes. Though, realistically, you'll see around 13 to 15 minutes. I've done it. But here's the honest truth. When you're flying a drone this capable, you don't want to fly like a grandma. You want to explore. You want to push it. You want to see what it can do. And when you do that, you're back to that 9 to 11 minute window. Before you get angry about this, before you write this drone off, you need to understand why this is happening. Because it's not a design flaw, it's a design choice. And it's actually brilliant. The Neo2 is doing an enormous amount of work every single second it's in the air. Those stronger motors I mentioned, they're constantly adjusting power to fight wind and maintain position. That advanced stabilization system, it's working overtime to keep your footage smooth. The flight controller, it's processing sensor data from the omnidirectional vision system and LiDAR, making predictions, correcting mistakes before you even notice them. All of this requires power. Serious power. The 606 mAh battery in the Neo2 is actually more efficient than the original Neo's battery, but the drone is asking significantly more from it because it's doing so much more. This is the trade-off. This is physics. You cannot have a drone this small, this stable, this capable, and also have 30-minute flight times. It doesn't exist. The hidden cost. Here's what separates the Neo2 from every other budget drone on the market, and this is crucial to understanding whether this drone is right for you. Most cheap drones save battery by doing less. They have weak motors that struggle in wind. They have basic stabilization that produces shaky footage. They don't have obstacle avoidance, so they're not constantly processing sensor data. They're not tracking subjects intelligently. They're basically just hovering platforms with cameras attached. The Neo2 is the opposite. It's sacrificing flight time to give you professional-level features in a tiny package. Think about what this drone is actually doing while you fly. It's running advanced computer vision algorithms to track subjects through complex environments at speeds up to 12 meters per second. That's about 27 miles per hour. It's using multiple sensors, including forward LiDAR and omnidirectional vision sensors, to build a three-dimensional map of its surroundings. It's predicting wind patterns and adjusting motor power in real time. It's stabilizing a two-axis gimbal mechanically and electronically at the same time. It's recording 4K video at 60 frames per second, or up to 100 frames per second in manual mode. It's maintaining GPS lock, communicating with your controller, and running dozens of safety protocols simultaneously. That's not a toy, that's a flying computer, and computers require power. This is why I keep saying the battery limitation isn't a flaw. It's a boundary. DJI made a conscious choice. They could have made a drone that flies for 25 minutes but loses the subject when someone walks behind a tree. They could have made a drone with weaker motors that gets blown around in moderate wind. They could have skipped obstacle avoidance and saved massive amounts of power. Instead, they built a drone that inspires confidence, produces professional footage, and happens to need frequent battery swaps. For the kind of flying most people actually do, that's the right choice. Who this is for, let's get specific about who should buy this drone and who absolutely shouldn't. Because this is where most people make expensive mistakes. The Neo2 is perfect for you if you're capturing moments, not missions. If you're at the park with your kids and you want to grab some aerial shots of them playing, this drone excels. If you're traveling and you want to document locations from unique angles without carrying heavy gear, this is ideal. If you're a content creator who needs quick, reliable B-roll for social media or YouTube, the Neo2 will become your most used tool. The key phrase here is quick and reliable. This drone launches fast, flies confidently, and produces usable footage every single time. The Neo2 is also brilliant for people who are intimidated by traditional drones. The hand launch feature, the gesture control where you can literally guide it with hand movements, the automatic tracking, the obstacle avoidance. These features remove the anxiety that keeps most people from flying regularly. My wife, who has zero interest in my gear obsession, has launched the Neo2 probably 20 times in the last month just to film our dog at the beach. That's the power of removing complexity. It's not about having the longest flight time or the highest top speed. It's about making flying so easy and so stress-free that you actually do it. Now, who shouldn't buy this drone? If you're planning long cinematic sequences that require 15+ minutes of continuous flying, look elsewhere. If you need maximum range to fly far from your position, this isn't it. If your primary concern is getting the absolute most airtime per dollar, you need to be looking at completely different drones that make completely different compromises. The Neo2 prioritizes quality of experience over quantity of minutes. That's not better or worse. It's different. And you need to be honest about which one matters more to you. Here's my honest recommendation. If the Neo2 sounds right for your use case, budget for at least 3 batteries. Not because one battery is insufficient, but because when you're out there flying and the first battery dies, you're going to want to go again immediately. I own 5 batteries now, and on a typical outing, I'll use 3 or 4 of them. That's not a complaint. That's enthusiasm. The drone makes me want to explore more angles, try different shots, capture moments I would have skipped with a more stressful flying experience. The drone-only version starts at around $229, while the Fly More combo with 3 batteries is around $450. That's honestly the best value if you're serious about using it. The real test. Here's what I'm doing next, and this is why you need to stay subscribed. I'm planning a real stress test for the Neo2 that goes way beyond what I've shown you today. I'm talking back-to-back battery runs without breaks to see how heat affects performance. I'm flying in progressively worse weather conditions to find the actual limits of that wind resistance. I'm testing the tracking system with faster subjects, more obstacles, and more complex environments. I'm pushing this drone to the point where it starts showing its real character, because that's where small drones usually break down. I want to see if the motors overheat after continuous use. I want to know if the gimbal calibration drifts after multiple cycles. I want to test whether the obstacle avoidance gets overwhelmed in dense environments. These are the questions that matter after the honeymoon period ends, and I'm going to document everything with actual data, not just impressions. If you're considering buying the Neo2, that video will either confirm your decision or save you $300. Either way, it's valuable information that you're not going to find anywhere else. Hit that subscribe button right now so you don't miss it, because that video is dropping in exactly 1 week. And turn on notifications, because I'm also planning a live Q&A session where I'll answer every single question you have about the Neo2 based on my extended testing. This is the kind of real-world information that actually helps people make smart buying decisions instead of just regurgitating spec sheets and manufacturer claims. Final verdict. So here's my final verdict after 30 days of constant flying. The DJI Neo2 is not the longest flying drone. It's not the fastest drone. It's not the highest resolution camera or the maximum range beast. What it is the most confidence-inspiring small drone I've ever flown. It removes the anxiety. It removes the constant corrections. It removes the fear that you're going to crash or lose signal or waste your time with unusable footage. It makes flying feel natural, predictable, and genuinely enjoyable. And when the battery reminds you to land, you don't feel frustrated because the drone failed you. You feel frustrated because you are having too much fun. That's a completely different kind of limitation. That's not a weakness. That's a consequence of excellence. The Neo2 works so hard to make your flying experience effortless that it burns through power quickly. But in return, you get footage that looks professional, a flying experience that feels premium, and a tool that you'll actually use regularly instead of leaving in your closet because it's too stressful to fly. For most people, that's the right trade-off. For most use cases, that's exactly what you want. And if it sounds like what you need, the Neo2 is probably the best $200 to $450 you'll spend on camera gear this year, depending on which bundle you choose. Now, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment right now and tell me, are you team, give me longer flight time at any cost, or team, I'd rather have quality and confidence even if flights are shorter? Because that answer determines whether the Neo2 is right for you. And I'm genuinely curious where this community stands. And if you already own the Neo2, tell me your real flight times. Tell me what you're using it for. Tell me if you're having the same experience I am, or if I'm completely wrong. That conversation in the comments helps everyone make better decisions. So don't skip it. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. That tells me you're serious about finding the right drone. And I respect that. I'll see you in the next video for that stress test. And trust me, you don't want to miss what happens when we really push this thing to its limits. Until then, fly safe, have fun, and remember, the best drone isn't the one with the longest spec sheet. It's the one you'll actually take with you.